voll. Da gibt es einmal viele Pubs und sowas, ne?
Mhm.
Oh my god.
Today your life changes forever.
Since my birth, I'm physically handicapped, but that fact has actually never stopped me from doing the things that I like to do. In spring 2017, I was at a special sport week, especially for people with handicap, and there I met Simeon. At this time, he made community service in the organization which made this sport week, and he took care of me, and we understood each other pretty good. So I asked him, on the last day of the sport week, "Do you want to go on holiday with me one day?" He answered yes, and a few months later I found myself getting with him on a plane to Los Angeles. But now, 4 years later, Simeon, my little brother Heinz, and me again are on the way to New York to live in a camper on the streets of the USA for 1 month. At such a long journey, of course, not everything went like it was planned, and I totally forgot that you can't rely on the public transport system in the USA. We booked our hotel in New Jersey, and on an online map the computer told me that we have to take just 3 different trains, and then we will be in New York. But instead it's like a road trip. New York is an impressive city. It was built on an island. Nowadays the city is 783.8 square kilometers big. Subway system is the same shit like it is in London a few years ago, because you simply can't find an elevator in every station. So we were walking all the ways the whole 3 days. but we had a great tour guide who showed us the city. It was my uncle who works there, and because of him I ate oysters for the first time in my life. But before we were allowed to enter the United States of America, we had to run an admission procedure in 1912 in the Museum of Immigration on Ellis Island.
Next. Next. What is your first name, please? 1912. What is your first name?
First name is David. His first name is
Paul.
Paul.
Okay.
I'm Ludwig.
And what country did you come from 100 years ago?
Germany. Italy.
Hungary.
Hungary.
Okay. And where are you going in the United States? Where would you want to live in the United States 110 years ago?
San Francisco.
I would like to go to Pittsburgh.
To what? You want to go to? Greenbelt.
New York?
Take New York.
New York, maybe?
Going to
Okay.
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Okay.
Pittsburgh.
Okay, Pittsburgh. Okay, and what work would you tell Department of Labor you did 110 years ago? Join us, family. Just make up a story. What work did you do 10 years ago?
Carpenter.
In the old country. Carpenter? Farming?
Butcher.
Burning facility.
Okay. What about you?
Where
Any
you working?
kind of work.
So hard.
Okay, well that's good. You're all getting in, but wait. Do you have a contract labor position?
No.
CL?
No.
No. Okay, no. Good. Do you have contract labor positions? Good.
No.
And are you going to be a disruptive force in the society? Back then, on my list are polygamists and anarchists. I'm worried about you. Are you anarchist?
No.
He's getting a hearing. Pertains to that one.
Did they have those lists in advance?
Yes.
Oh, you already knew.
Just hold on. I'll give you the info later. So, folks, you're free to go now.
Yay!
And that is it.
Welcome here in New York. And welcome to our mega road trip through the USA. Here on, let's travel.
3 days are a relative short time to explore the whole city, but we weren't expecting that 3 days are enough. On the other hand side, the city is expensive, and if we would have stayed longer, we probably would have spent our whole budget there.
Bin ich jetzt gespannt, ob das letzte Jahr, das sind die Twin Towers, ja. Und sind es jetzt wieder weg. Holy fucking crap, das ist immer schon oben.
Welcome to One World Observatory.
Oh mein Gott.
Oh, you fucking kidding.
To spend $90 each person to go up to the One World Observatory. Of course, you get 2 cool animations while you're riding the elevator up and down, and a great view over the city, but it's still pretty expensive.
It's a great spot to jump down.
1886, the people of France gave the people of the US the Statue of Liberty as a gift. It's a giant statue made out of bronze, and of course we have some cool photos with it.
Jetzt jemand über die Straße oder vorne ein Zebrastreifen? Straße, ja.
This is the vessel designed from the British designer Mr. Hathaway and built by a billionaire who was bored. Sometimes the view is much better when you can stand up, and because I made therapy 2 times a week, it is not a big deal for me to stand up and enjoy the full view over Rockefeller Plaza together with my brother. The Central Park in New York is with its 341 hectares the 5th largest park in New York. And if you are a rock and pop fan like me, you probably heard about this park because of the legendary concert from Simon and Garfunkel on September the 19th in 1981. I was impressed how big this park is. It is so big that when you are inside it, you don't think that you are in the middle of one of the biggest cities of the world. Of course, it's such a long journey, not everything can run as good as expected. And on this journey, I or the travel agency made a mistake, because when we picked up our camper from the RV rental, they told us, "Hey guys, you have booked no miles to this camper." And then your brain starts to get angry about the guy from the travel agency, because we booked the camper by travel agency only for one single reason, to avoid problems like this. So we had to pay $3,000, but my credit card is limited to 2,500, and because I forgot to disable the geo control on my ATM card, me and my brother have to share the payment. And because the limit of my credit card was reached, Simeon had to help us with his credit card. On such a road trip, sometimes you have to be spontaneous. In our case, the original plan was to go from New York up to the north, to the Niagara Falls, to Cincinnati, Chicago, Yellowstone National Park, Denver, Las Vegas, and Los Angeles. But because the weather forecast for the north was pretty bad, we threw the original plan overboard and went instead to the south. We looked on the maps, and there we saw the Outer Banks, sandbanks a few miles away from the east coast from the USA, in the Atlantic Sea. It's a really nice place.
Okay, ich glaube, jetzt müssen wir wieder sagen gerade. Scheint so. Ha? Jeder mal Frage, zeig ihm die Rechnung, dass du nur zahlst, aber das kannst du nicht zahlen. Ich habe keine Rechnung, also das meinst du. Ich glaube, das ist nur für die Brücke gerade. Hi. You have dual tires, right? Sorry? You have dual tires. Sorry. I don't know. I just paid this.
Okay, I don't have nothing to do with that. You don't know if you have 4 tires in the back or 2 tires in the back?
No, I don't know. I just picked up this car today. Wir merken wieder einfach so das Fahren über Leiste läuft. Hey, just $1.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Oh, nice. That's a relief.
Everything's cheap in Delaware, man.
All right. Happy to be here now then.
Like receipt, sir?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh.
I give you change if you need.
No, that's fine. $1 is paper. I'm not used to one paper.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, have a good one. See you.
Take care.
Ja, Mann.
Sag mal, bitte nicht.
Ja, New York, Alter, ist teuer, die Wichser, Alter, oder was?
Ja, scheiß New York, Alter. Ich glaube generell, dass wir das Polen scheißen damit.
Ja, Florida wird auch nochmal teuer mit Fahren, das hat ja schon angekündigt.
Whoa, how awesome. How awesome is that?
Meine Hilfe verletzt den Arsch, aber... Okay.
Super.
Alle anschnallt. Alle ready.
We were a little bit surprised how far south the Outer Banks are, and how fast the climate is changing from the warm cloudy New York to the sunny and hot Outer Banks in North Carolina. Later we looked on the map and we realized that we were more south than Gibraltar, Spain. At the end of the day, we were really hungry, and even if our camper was full with food, beer, and up to 50% with beef jerky, we decided to go to a bar and eat fresh seafood.
Das lassen wir jetzt stehen. So, die ganze Zeit.
So we were in the backyard of this bar, looking into the ocean, and the afternoon sun was shining in our faces. When I was about 13 years old, one day in my special school for disabled people, a therapist asked the whole class if we wanna go to the US with him. It was such a cool idea, and I actually wanted to go with them, but I also knew that I will have homesickness, and I started crying at home just from thinking if I should say yes or no when my class would fly to the US. At the end, it was too tough for them to organize a trip to the US, but since then I started to dream of exploring this country, and in 2017 I traveled to the US for the first time. Nowadays I don't have homesickness anymore. Nowadays I have the problems when I'm thinking of going home back into daily life, but I already know I will go back the fourth time.
Willkommen beim Buchstaben vom Bild. Er schaut gespannt aus, aber es war kalt. Deswegen hat er sich vorher eine Campingplatz eingepinkelt, damit es warm ist.
This night we were camping at the camping ground at Hatteras Island, and cause we all were full of sand, we were showering outside at sunset. Yep, of course, it was cold, but when you make a journey like this, even when you are disabled, you have to expect something like this. In particular, when your travel mates are a crazy physiotherapist and the other mate is your own brother. But I like to be outside, and I like sitting in a camping chair and feel the wind on the body while you are wet. These are the moments when you know you are the one out of thousands of disabled people who makes the impossible possible. From Hatteras Island to Ocracoke, you need to take a ferry which runs every 2 hours. When we arrived at the harbor, there were a lot of cars waiting for this ferry, and we thought we had to wait another 2 hours. But at the end, from the loading process, a sailor came to us and told us that now it's our turn, because they need a counterweight for the truck which was placed on the other side of the vessel. So we were happy that we don't have to wait till the next ferry would come. When we left the harbor, I realized how far away from dry land we actually were. On our trip, you just see a few sandbanks and the big blue ocean, and once again I asked myself why we are with a 9.40 meters long camper on a ferry in the Atlantic Ocean. We actually wanted to make a road trip from New York through the US to LA. When we arrived on Ocracoke Island, we found a nice beach access.
Thanks a lot. And it's over. Here is the end.
I'm here at the Osprey. At the sequence, I don't know where exactly, but here we're going to see.
So of course, you want to go swimming if you drive on sandbanks in the middle of an ocean. But don't go sunbathing without having sun cream on your skin. It was a dream being back on the beach after many years listening to the waves swimming in the sea. Maybe it was one of the biggest mistakes of our journey that we haven't stopped on the Outer Banks for a few days just because we thought we won't make it to Las Vegas until my friend Marcus will run his bachelor party. On the other hand side, we thought we will get a few other chances to swim in the sea somewhere around New Orleans.
Jetzt sitzt man sich am Wegtreibt.
Ocracoke is a location where you feel like you are in the Caribbean, with palms and small houses. And because we had to wait 2.5 hours till our next ferry to the mainland, we decided to check out a restaurant.
Genau. Voll. Da gibt's einmal viele Pubs und sowas, ne?
Because Simeon likes hazy IPAs from his previous trips to Canada, we started to drink hazes 2 days ago. This restaurant had tropical hazes. We just tried it, even when I never had sour beer before. At 33 degrees, a cold sour beer is the best thing you can drink. Okay, ice cold lemon water is probably better for your health, but yeah. So, the next story you cannot see in this movie, but as we took the ferry from Ocracoke to the dry land, a guy punched another guy, both were related to each other, that hard that he fell against the car and the metal deck of the vessel. He lay unconscious in a pool of blood and nobody really cared. A few minutes later, a sailor came and took care of him, but the vessel didn't return to the harbor, even when it was still closed. What a crazy land. After we spent the night in Cedar Island, we took our way to the west coast, 3,600 miles and the whole continent in front of us. In contrast to my first road trip, we didn't sleep every night at the RV park. Mostly we slept at the parking lots at Walmarts. Walmarts are comparable to metros in Austria, and we were happy because we had normal toilets for our morning poops. After leaving Cedar Island, we first had to find the next gas station. Even if we were using an app to find the best gas stations on our route, it wasn't always that easy to find them. Some were too expensive, some had other prices than the app showed us, and some simply don't exist. Another funny thing is when you have to buy the gas with cash instead of credit card, because first you have to go into the shop, tell them how many gallons you will need, and then you can fill up your car. If you have bought more fuel than your car needs, you lose the money. Our camper needed about 25 to 35 liters regular. Here in Europe it's called super, per 100 kilometers. So when we filled the tank up, we spent about 140 to 160 bucks. Between Cedar Island and Jacksonville, the landscape changed from low-level swampy coastlines to green grass with forests and little knolls. On the border to Florida, we made a short stop to go to the toilet and having breakfast. Even if we ate snacks all the time while we were driving, one of the things that I hate about my disability is that I can't grab snacks or food in general. And yeah, that's a problem when you have to tell Heinz, who was reading the book most of the time while we were driving, or Simeon, who was driving, every 2 minutes that you want to have beef jerky, chips or Cheetos. In Louisiana, I was surprised that they built miles of highways and power lines on water. Before I went to Louisiana, I thought that the only highway which was built over the water is the highway from Miami to the Florida Keys. Founded in 1718 by French colonists, New Orleans once was the territorial capital of French Louisiana, before becoming part of the United States in the Louisiana Purchase of 1803. In 1840, New Orleans was the third most popular city in the United States. When you are in this city, you will notice that voodoo shops and stories are all around. You can visit the only official vampire shop in the world, or make a cemetery tour, or you can make a voodoo tour. I was a little bit disappointed by the voodoo tour, because in the description they wrote it's a tour with some horror moments, but there weren't scary moments at all. But our tour guide was a cool dude. After the tour we had a drink with him. New Orleans was the Central European was strange. It had something like 33 degrees and it was heavy raining from time to time, so actually you feel hot. But it wasn't hot enough for running around in wet clothes. And when you went inside a building, then you feel cold because of the air condition. Although the buildings are old, they had air condition. And you wet hairs. At the RV park in New Orleans, we saw folders of tourism. There we found a swamp tour in the swamps of Louisiana, and I think everybody of us three had pictures of cruising with an airboat or hovercraft in our minds, and how we will be cruising around in the reeds, like the famous tours in Florida, but it wasn't like this. We started the tour by entering a small bus. The driver from the bus remembered me of the singer Brian Johnson from the rock band AC/DC. This bus carried us to another bigger bus. The bigger bus, where the windows were leaky, carried us to the swamp. It was a rainy day and the road to the docking station was already flooded. Instead of a cool fast hovercraft, we drove with a covered boat. Our captain told us some stories about him and about the alligators, while he drove us deeper into the swamp. From time to time, the motors of the boat got sucked in a little island of mud and grass or whatever this stuff was. In a sidearm, he stopped the boat and sat himself down on the edge of the boat with his legs hanging into the water and started screaming out, "TC," again and again.
TC! TC! When you not here, we see alligators, it's going to be how many? We just wear around.
And threw marshmallows into the water. I asked myself what TC is.
TC!
Is it the name of an alligator?
TC!
Later at home, when I was cutting the movie, sometimes I understood, where is he, or there is he.
You know, one from the left of them, way in the corner. See him coming in the corner? To the left corner.
So when he threw the marshmallows into the water, a few alligators came and ate the marshmallows. Crazy Americans.
Alligators have float bladders. They can float the whole body or just the head. Depending on how comfortable they are with them. But they have lines with a handicapped dog. That all the things. Okay, who wants to buy a ticket back to the dock? It's all starting to look the same. And I can charge you whatever I want. At the age of 12, I was coming out here by myself.
So we went over another highway, built in a swamp. Simeon ate cherries and I ate chips with avocado cream, as I had the idea to make a slow motion video of how Simeon spits the cherry stones out the window. Later on this day in Texas, while Heinz was driving, a police car appeared behind us.
Yes. Simeon.
Ja?
Da ist die Polizei hinter mir. Soll ich mich einfach, fahren wir da einfach rechts ran oder was macht man?
Haben Sie Blaulicht an?
Blau, ja, rot, blau, ja.
Ja, dann muss rechts ranfahren einfach.
Okay.
Links und rechts ran.
In the movies and in the news, the American police are always portrayed as particularly fond of shooting. and I was just hoping that I don't get the wrong acetoid movement at the wrong time, even if the other two don't even thought about my acetoid movement. So Heinz disappeared for about 45 minutes in the car.
Hände aufs Lenkrad.
Was?
Hände aufs Lenkrad und auf den
Driver's license on you? Sorry?
I've got it in my little bag.
Oh, okay,
Together, like the money and
I
everything.
pulled you over that box truck that was in front of you.
Yeah.
You're too close to him, alright?
Alright.
That thing's too big to be following that close.
Here you go.
That's your insurance? That's insurance?
It's a rental.
It's a rental?
It's a rental, yeah.
You have your rental agreement?
Yeah, it's up here.
Where is this from?
Austria.
Austria?
Do you need an international?
Huh?
Do you need an international pass?
Nah.
Got that.
I've just never seen that one before.
Alright.
Come on, it's ein Aussteigen. Und jetzt doch nicht doch.
Das war nur ein Warning. Aber wir haben noch uns gut unterhalten eigentlich.
Ich hab's gesehen, ich hab schon mal lang den Bildschirm gefilmt.
Und der hat gemeint, da wo wir hinfahren, das ist irgendwie ein bisschen ein shady place.
A little bit a shady place. Okay. It can't be as shady as the place in New Orleans where we spent it the night before. We had the RV park. When we were in the bed we heard 3 bang bang bang. It sounded like shots from a gun, but probably it was just the sound of couple dragons together. So, staying at another shady place. Why not?
Ich habe mir das Ganze nicht über in Amarillo oder irgendwie so da gemeint gibt. Da ist das große Steakhouse. Und dann gibt es noch so eine Art Tankstelle und die haben noch viel mehr Zeug so. Das heißt Buckies, da gibt es solche Süßigkeiten, so spezielle. Und die machen ihr eigenes Gas, mehr oder weniger sind meistens die billigsten. Nein, das heißt Buckies. B-U-C-D. Und dann halt Apostrophe.
Is this the way to Amarillo? Until I saw Amarillo on the map, I thought it's just a name for a random location for a song. But here I am, in a small town in the steppe or desert of Texas. And when you are in Texas, you want to eat steak. It was so delicious. And if we would have had more time on this day, we just took one break on the stay, I would have tried the 72 ounce steak, which is 2.04 kilograms, for something around $130. You would get it for free if you can eat it in less than 1 hour, but I'm a slow eater. As the sun was going down, we continued our journey to the west to New Mexico, and our route now followed almost the original track of the Route 66. On the route we found a little town called Tucumcari. The old-style motel signs with the light and the Route 66 logos were looking pretty good, and if I would not know that it is 2022, I would have believed that we are back in the 1930s. This night we slept at the parking lot at the Route 66 Museum in Tucumcari. It was a good night, and we continued our way to the Grand Canyon, mostly on the highway US 40, but sometimes we took the exit and drove on some historical parts of the old Route 66. Some parts were really nice. We just drive around little rocks and canyons. It's just a nice famous old street, and on the sidelines you see a lot of old and abandoned buildings.
Hello. Here I'm sitting anywhere in New Mexico. The Route 66 was one of the longest roads from Chicago to Los Angeles.
On some spots where we were filming, we just didn't take my wheelchair out of the camper, so sometimes we just walked to the moderation place. We were leaving the Route 66 and went to the north, climbing up the Colorado Plateau. It is a physiographic and desert region of the Intermontane Plateaus, roughly centered on the Four Corners region of the southwestern United States. This province covers an area of 130,000 square miles, which is 336,700 square kilometers within western Colorado, northwestern New Mexico, southern and eastern Utah, northern Arizona, and a tiny fraction in the extreme southeast of Nevada. About 90% of the area is drained by the Colorado River and its main tributaries. Here I am now, standing again at the edge of the Grand Canyon, and it's still impressive how deep it goes. At one point, Simeon takes the GoPro and went to the top of a big rock. If it would be possible for me, I would have gone to the top of the rock too. After we enjoyed the view of the Grand Canyon, we ate some disgusting noodles with cheddar. We stayed just one night at the Grand Canyon. We are on the way to the Hoover Dam Lodge in Nevada. Again, we looked on the map if there are some parts of the legendary US Route 66, and in Arizona you will find the longest sections with 385.20 miles, which is 619.92 kilometers. US 66 was established on November the 11th, 1926, with road signs erected the following year. The highway, which became one of the most famous roads in the United States, originally ran from Chicago, Illinois, through Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and California, covering a total of 2,448 miles, which is 3,940 kilometers. Even if it's just a route in America, for me this route is something special. You can compare it with Mozart and Vienna if you are not an Austrian. Here I am now, in my favorite part of the US, on the west coast of America. A few rock singers live in this area, and they wrote some songs about it. One of them is Tom Petty, and when I hear his song, Into the Great Wide Open, I wanna go back to the west coast, spending some time there, driving straight roads like this now. We spent the night at the parking lot at the Hoover Dam Lodge. We had a nice view over Lake Mead. Next day we visited the Hoover Dam and we made a tour into the dam. But producer Friedrich Pötzelberger has not enough good footage from this side trip. Viva Las Vegas, the town of gambling and illusion in the Mojave Desert, city of lights and shows. We stayed 6 days. The shows were really great, and every one of us enjoyed them. Sadly, at 99% of the shows it's not allowed to make photos or videos, so we can't show you the great shows. But when you are in Vegas once, then you definitely have to see one. On 5th of May, me and my friend Marcus wanted to meet for a drink in Linz, but my personal assistant got sick. He texted me that we can move it to next week. I answered no, because 3 days later, after we would have met, I would fly to America and I need a negative COVID test. It would have been too risky to have a drink in Linz, Austria. He asked me, where will you go? Also to Vegas, because I still need a bachelor party. So 2 days later, he booked a flight to Las Vegas. It's the 3rd of June, and here we are now. Welcome to Hangover 4, Wheelchair Edition. When I was a child, I saw a Galileo documentation about the Heart Attack Grill. It's an American hamburger restaurant in downtown Las Vegas, Nevada. It makes a point of serving food that is very unhealthy and full of fat, sugar, and cholesterol. In other words, food that is eaten frequently will increase the chance of a heart attack, hence the name.
Hit him. You can't hit him.
One more funny thing is when you don't eat your meal, you get the slap in the ass. You can't see me on 8-hour meal. But you know, when you make a movie and a nice Asian slaps you, you can't say no.
Harder! More! Yes!
After 6 days Vegas, we couldn't wait to continue our journey. Now we drive to the south of California, to the mountains of the Sierra Nevada. For me it is fascinating how fast the landscape changes here at the west coast. And it is also fascinating for me how you can build a highway in the middle of a canyon. I mean, why they don't make a tunnel. We planned our route to Levining through the deepest point in the US. The Death Valley is surrounded by 11,043 feet high mountains. The Death Valley isn't just the lowest point of the US, it's also the hottest place on Earth. At Furnace Creek on 10th of July in 1913, a temperature of 56.7 degrees Celsius was recorded. Today it wasn't that hot, but we were taking a break to go out in the hot Death Valley. Last time when I was there, in winter 2017, I ate my breakfast out there in the nothing. But when you went out now, you can feel the sunbeams on your skin, like thousands of nails falling down. It's just another moment of wow. Our Earth is so fascinating. And again, you ask yourself what we are doing here. Why are we at the hottest part on the Earth in June? And why are there some villages and streets? Now I knew why our brakes got overheated while we drove down into the valley. Now it's time to climb up at the other side of the valley. Therefore we have to climb more than 8,200 feet, which is 2,499 meters. And it didn't really look like that there are such big differences in the elevation. You just realize it when you do the research at home. Okay, also when you see the snow on the mountains. But yeah, this is California. In this state you have everything. You have the ocean, deserts, forests and huge mountains. Just the water is a rare thing. Actually, we wanted to sleep near the entrance of the Yosemite National Park, so that we don't have to wait too long to get in on the next day, and maybe because Simeon is an early riser. So we decided to sleep at the gas station, nearly Vining, with a beautiful view over the Mono Lake. On the next morning at 5:30 a.m. we started our drive over the Tioga Pass with an elevation of 9,945 feet, which is 3,031 meters. It's not just the highest pass in our journey, it's the highest mountain on which I've ever been in my life so far. The pass in the morning sun was gorgeous. Here you can spend hours just to enjoy the views. I'm living in Austria, and here we have also mountains called the Alps, and the highest street of the Alps is called Ötztaler Gletscherstraße, with an elevation of 9,285 feet, which is 2,830 meters. So the highest street in Austria is still lower than this pass. When we were in Vegas, somehow I got sick, maybe because of the air condition or whatever. On that day I was tired, had earache, a sore throat, and coryza all the time. The Yosemite Park is one of the most beautiful national parks in the US that I have seen until now. It is surrounded by Sierra National Forest on the southeast and Stanislaus National Forest on the northwest. The park covers an area of 759,620 acres, which is 1,187 square miles or 3,074 square kilometers, and sits in 4 counties, centered in Tuolumne and Mariposa, extending north and east to Mono and south to Madera County. Designated a World Heritage Site in 1984, Yosemite is internationally recognized for its granite cliffs, waterfalls, clear streams, giant sequoia growth, lakes, mountains, meadows, glaciers, and biological diversity. Almost 95% of the park is designated wilderness. Yosemite is one of the largest and least fragmented habitat blocks in the Sierra Nevada, and the park supports a diversity of plants and animals. We took a walk through a little part of the Yosemite Valley. Unfortunately, the accu from the second GoPro was empty, so we don't have that much footage from this walk. We followed the river and got to a little lake.
We're here at the Yosemite Park, and just this down here it was already so impressive. And yeah, now we're sitting here and enjoy our lives.
I don't remember who had the idea sitting me on that rock, but somehow it was a cool moment, sitting together with my brother on a rock surrounded by 3,000 feet, which is 914 meters high granite cliffs. After a few hours, we continued our journey to the west coast. To went out of the Yosemite is a cool route. They built the road inside a canyon along a river. Now, after 3.5 weeks and after 4,336 miles, which is 6,900 kilometers, we were on the west coast. On my right-hand side is the Pacific, and on my left-hand side is the continent where we've been driving through. We drove the beautiful coast highway, highway number 1, which runs 656 miles, which is 1,056 kilometers along the Pacific coast of California. I grew a fan of this street since I visited it for the first time in December 2017. We started in San Francisco and went to LA. When you drive on this road, you need time, because you just want to stop every 200 meters to go out of the car and watch the Pacific coastline. To stay overnight on highway number 1 is actually not allowed, but it is allowed to take a rest, so we spontaneously decided to take the next side up to enjoy the sunset and to have a meal. And cause there was no RV park in the area, we went to bed and slept on a beautiful place. On the next morning we continued our way to the Sea Lions at San Simeon.
Wegkriegt.
Ja.
Bist du deppert, Alter? Was tun wir denn?
Ja, unseren kann man dann, ich meine, wir könnten nur stehen bleiben und hoffen oder warten, auf der Zug kommt. Ein Obervollcast, ich werde auf jeden Fall an meinem Helpdesk nachher anrufen, dass es da irgendwie Spielnegert hat.
Aber das war so eng, ich konnte nicht weiter darüber, Alter.
Ja, ja.
Ich hoffe, das war nur der Spiegel.
Yes, it was only the mirror. The truck driver didn't return, and we didn't call the hotline. Out there the signal was too bad for making phone calls. After a few minutes, we got chilled again, and we had a fully comprehensive anyway. So, from now on, we were driving without our left mirror.
The Outer Banks, the Grand Canyon, and now the Highway 1. One of my favorite places in the US. It's so beautiful here, and when you have no car sound, then it's so sad.
But now, 5 years later, it was open, and I was happy that I could enjoy the part that I was missing. Because of an ocean stream from Alaska, pregnant sea elephants took a few days long break at the beaches around San Simeon. After the break, they will swim back to Alaska to get the babies. And sea elephants are the kings of chilling. I think some of us would like to become a sea elephant in the next life.
Every day's food. We spent the next 2 nights in Pismo Beach to wash our clothes and preparing some stuff to leave the camper. In the afternoon we went to some shops and walked around in this town. At the pier we found a restaurant which looks nice, so we decided to went in there, having some lunch and cocktails. Anyhow, we got the idea to start a campfire at the RV park by sunset, and I was surprised that it was colder now than in December when Simeon and I were there for our first time.
Es ist halt schwer, weil man das mit einem Backen.
Ja? Das ist ein Fackel, ja?
Ja.
Dann ist jetzt das drin.
Gerade den Essen wegziehen. Das schaut aber sicher lustig auf der Kamera aus, und wir beide weg und auf einmal was Bullshit.
Ja, ich bin das gewöhnt, halt, dass ich als Raucher das nicht Ding nicht gehe. Ich bin das nie, weil ich will das zurückbringen, genau
Da liegt es,
da liegt, ja.
Ja, ich denke mir so, scheiße, das liegt drin, das war jetzt schon Zeit lang, wir müssen da weg, wenn es so scheißfrei ist.
the next day we went up early once more because we went to the leisure park, Six Flags, over mountains. When I'm in America, I have to ride roller coasters, because in Europe 99% of the roller coasters say no to disabled people, because in case of an evacuation, and just because they don't know if your body is able to resist the G-forces. In my opinion, this is the second biggest discrimination in my life. I mean, when you are not patronized and you are old enough, then you are the only one who knows if your body will resist or not. Even when I wouldn't resist the G-forces, it will be my problem. I think in this case a law would be good, so that I don't have to fly to the USA when I wanna ride roller coasters. Six Flags Magic Mountain is located in a desert, and we thought that inside the park we will find some free drink water. We are in the US, not in Africa, but no, of course, you can buy some little water bottle for $8 fucking bucks. Because in the US you should not drink the tap water. We drove all the day long, almost every roller coaster, mostly all together, but some roller coasters just me and Simeon drove. And at the end of the day we also found a spot with free drinking water. For me it was a great day, except that we almost died of thirst.
Oh, he has the GoPro footage probably with him.
Oh my God.
Much easier. Today your life changes forever, and this may very well be the high point of your insignificant existence.
Now, we went to our final RV park in Santa Clarita, where we spent the last 2 nights in our camper. On the way to this RV park, we stopped with an empty stomach at Walmart, and you should not go to a Walmart with an empty stomach. So at the RV park, we had to eat a lot and drink a lot of hazes while we prepared ourselves and the camper to leave. Next morning, we went to our final destination, Malibu. On the way, we filled up the camper with fuel, and we also wanted to fill up our propane tank, because we're supposed to do it. But we couldn't find a shop which has propane available. Our tank was almost full anyway, so it didn't matter. When we were at the RV rental, we had once more to do some paperwork because of the broken mirror. After we finished it, a shuttle brought us to our hotel, but we just stayed only a few minutes in our room. Then we went to Venice Beach to take a meal. In the next days, we went to the Aquarium of the Pacific, to the Griffith Observatory, and to the Pride Parade in LA, even if we didn't know that the parade runs on this weekend. One thing what I really hate in America is the fact that the stupid people use every fucking elevator in this country as their toilet, so that I had to smell their pee and shit, and when we traveled by subway, a woman just pissed in the subway train. What horrid people. It was an amazing trip. I really enjoyed this holiday together with my brother, and I'm really happy that my buddy Simeon was with me the second time on a road trip, and I wish we will see us one day again on our next adventure. I don't know when I will come back to explore more of this crazy country, and I don't know where my next travel destination will be, but I'll be back to travel all over the world, and I will keep on working to make the impossible possible.
It's finally our last day here in LA. Finally, we're at the lighthouse of Simeon, thanks for coming with us. And Heinz, I liked our first holiday together. And I hope we will see us again in another episode of Let's Travel.
jetzt merkt man, wie schnell man runterfährt, ne?
Jetzt hast du übertrieben, mehr oder weniger. Wie du vorher wolltest. Holy shit.
Heinz, kannst du uns ganz kurz erklären, was du hier kurz machst? Tetris spielen. Wieso spielst du jetzt noch eine Runde Tetris? Es ist schon 11:30, wir müssen morgen zum Flughafen und so.
Weil ich zeigen will, wie geistig geschicklich ich noch bin um die Uhrzeit.
Ach so. Also es ist eigentlich alles nur ein Beweis deiner geistigen Fähigkeiten.
Absolut.
Okay.
By the way, Simeon, how was the trip for you?
Es war ein absoluter Höhepunkt der geistigen Fähigkeiten auf Seiten der Pötzelbergers.
Dankeschön, Dankeschön.
Ja. Okay, hier nochmal zum Beweis. Zum wievielten Mal machst du das jetzt, lieber Heinz?
Was?
Tetris spielen.
Also ich hoffe, das nochmal auspacken oder einpacken mache ich jetzt zum ersten Mal. Normalerweise lasse ich es immer und schaue, dass ich
Also, wir werden uns in Kürze nochmal melden, wenn es an Runde 2 und 3 geht. Erstmal.
And when Simeon will know better answers.
Ich weiß nicht, was du lustig jetzt da ist.
Das Witzige ist nur dran, dass wir deswegen jetzt ein Video machen darüber.
Ja,
Ich finde es sehr vernünftig, dass du es tust.
dann kannst du mir auch gleich helfen, weil ich eigentlich keine Ahnung habe, wie du mein
Yeah. And I can hold in the meantime the GoPro.
Okay, ich gebe dir mal die GoPro in die Hand, Fritz. Ja, natürlich. Was, in deinem Mund? Was? Da muss die Hülle runter. Die Hülle runter, warte kurz. Okay. So. Ist die sabberfest? Na, okay.
No, but we have to try it.
Na, wir werden jetzt hier ganz in Ruhe den Koffer neu packen. Und wenn das geschafft ist, dann gehen wir nochmal an deinen Koffer und dann nochmal an meinen Rucksack. Und dann haben wir 3 in der Früh. Ja, eben, deswegen.
Wir haben eh genug Zeit, wir müssen erst Schauspiel am Flughafen fahren.
Ja, also, wir gewöhnen uns einfach schon einmal an die Tag-Nacht-Phase wieder in Österreich, oder? Ja. Also, nicht schlafen und dafür morgen im Flugzeug schlafen. Was hast du denn da in der Hand? Das ist deine Peitsche. Ah ja.
Ich habe sie, falls man da steht, auch im Traum.
Oh, ja, zeig die mal nochmal genauer. Lass mal schnalzen.
Das kann ich nicht. Ja, und nochmal ganz klassisch ins Schwarz.
Ja, oh. Ich zeig dir gleich einen Trick, wie es richtig schnallt.
Das interessiert mich eigentlich nicht. Ich hoffe,
Okay.
dass wir das nie brauchen, dass ich irgendwie mit dem